Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. And it has been announced that Alyss will be the next weapon banner that's coming to global. So in this video, we will be discussing about her kit and hopefully help you decide if you should pull for her. So let's start with her base simulacra or her base skin. So here's what it is. And then for this video, let's use her 3-star skin. Alright, so before that, a few information about her kit. So, Alice's weapon is basically Immortal Wings. It uses the attack, resist, and HP stat. The shatter value is low, but it has a high charge rate. So this is pretty much perfect, I would say, because for Frost comps, we already have Saki, and Saki is the premier shield breaker for Frost. And then the charge rate is really helpful in the future because of maybe you've heard about Icarus. So Icarus kit revolves around him using his discharge to trigger his additional skills. And you can use Alyss to fill that energy gauge for Icarus. Okay, so let's continue. So Immortal Wings has the typical Frost Resonance. For global, this is lower, definitely. And then let's do a quick discussion of her movesets. So first we have Swan Arc. So Swan Arc is the basic attack combo. So it looks like this. Right. And then Flying Wing combo is same as Swan Arc, although this is what she does while airborne. So you jump first or any time while you're airborne. And then the flash dance. So the requirement for flash dance is that you must be under the Swan Arc combo. So you start by the Swan Arc, and then when you hold the attack button, the Swan Arc transitions to flash dance. There, you can do this anytime within the combo. Just be careful when you do it because you might fall off a cliff. And then we have the sweeping dive. So whenever you hold the attack button while you're in the air, she will do a diving kick. So that's what it is. And then we have the waltz. Waltz is her normal charge attack, I would say, while on the ground, without starting with Swan Arc. So if you notice, you can move her, and it continuously drains her stamina. And notice that while she's doing it, she has hyper body. Alright, and then we have the dancer form. This is a bit tricky because you must use the base dodge, the one without directional skills, before you do the attack button. So it looks like this. There. And then we have the Latin configuration. So that's why I said the dancer form needs the dodge without direction, because for Latin configuration, this is what we will trigger if you dodge with the direction and then you hold the dodge button. So yeah, you turn into a butterfly for the 3-star skin. The default is a dragonfly for the base skin. So that's the Latin configuration is really helpful for exploration because it's like you're flying. Basically, you maintain the altitude and move at increased move speed. Then when you return, she does this AoE attack, and you notice that there's also hyper body, right? So if you do the back dodge, then if you hold the dodge attack, she will keep on using Latin configuration. Alright, so typical dodge rate, and then let's get to the exciting part. Her skill is Cold Field. So I would note here that this is a great skill because notice that the cooldown is only 25 seconds, but the skill lasts for 30. So basically, it's almost permanent, or I would say it's permanent. You just have to refresh it every time. And for most frost comps, it will always almost stay on the field because of the Saki reset, which I will put some context later on using Alice kit. So it looks like this in the game. Right, so notice a lot of the background turn black, and you notice there's this phantom whenever you move. The good thing about Coldfield is that it follows you, unlike I mean Frigg's Winter. And for exploration, remember latent configuration. Whenever you have Coldfield, this moves extra fast. So there's an additional move speed bonus that you can use when you're exploring. Pretty handy, I would say. Also, there's this passive while using Cold Field that whenever you use a Frost Weapon's discharge skill, there will be triggered additional damage. And of course, there's this Space Fracture that you trigger every 12 hits while inside the Cold Field. The discharge skill trigger under Cold Field is really good, I would say, because it complements Alice kit. So before that, let me get into her discharge, which is Knight of the White Star. So nothing much special about the discharge itself. So it's mainly damage and then um, a bit of strength to spend sub the targets and clear all debuffs from you. So I would say it's just a main damaging discharge skill, right? So what makes it so special is that let's go to her advancement so we can have a brief context. So if you notice at her 1 star, using a frost weapon skill while inside Coldfield will trigger Alyss support. So Alyss support means that aside from your character, Alyss or Alyss Shadow will cast her discharge skill and then the weapon that triggered Alyss support. So basically, when you do a skill, she will trigger another skill plus her discharge. So the discharge and the weapon skill that triggered Alice support or from Alice support is only considered as discharge skill. So it will not the Alice support will not count with Saki's skill reset. But it counts the discharge skill. So let me show you how it looks in game. So basically what happens is that I cast Cold Field first, and yeah, you notice I have the Shadow. And then I'll switch to another Frost weapon, which is, in this case, Icarus. So if I cast the skill, notice the Dragonfly or the base skin Alice casting basically the same skill. So I'll try again with Saki under Cold Field. So yeah, there's Alice again, and then she casts Saki's skill again. So yeah, so for A1, this is really helpful because remember under Cold Field, there's this passive whenever using a Frost Weapon's discharge skill. So this means that every time you use a Frost Weapon in the Cold Field, you will also trigger a Frost Weapon's discharge skill, which will also trigger a damage from the Cold Field. Amazing, right? So Alice's kit revolves around spamming her discharge skill whenever you cast a frost weapon skill while in the cold field, which I would say cold field is pretty much permanent. Imagine 30-second duration and 25-second cooldown. That's amazing. Right. So now that I've touched Alice's 1 star, so let me just continue a bit about the advancement. So a 3 star, this is just a damage boost. So basically, since during your rotation you will be triggering Alice aid a lot of times, and then 3 star aids the damage with that because it stacks up to 3 times and puts additional damage on Knight of the White Star Alice's discharge. And at 5 star, if you like to use Space Fracture and Immortal Wings attack while under Cold Feed, the damage is increased by 50%, and also there's just quite a bit of utility because when you take fatal damage one time, you will be immune to damage like grit. Although the cooldown is 60 seconds, so it's not really that abusable, but really helpful when using boss fights or if you're using it as a tank. And for 6 star, 6 star is just basically additional damage boost. Whenever you do, remember for 3 star, the night the stacks adds up to 3 times. So when at 6 star, whenever you reach that three stacks, you get additional frost damage. So remember, these values are in CN and it might be reduced to global due to balancing, but pretty much what the effects are the same. So basically, three star is additional damage, 5 star is a bit of utility, and 6 stars is just plain damage boost. So I will leave the calculations for the enhancements to the expert, but basically I would say that the most important advancement that you get from Alyss is the 1 star. So for free to be or light spender, just target Alyss 1 star and her kit is complete. Alright, so to add a bit of context as well, Alice is really flexible because although you notice it specifically says for Frostcoms or a Frost Weapon skill, let's go at her Awakening or trait. Yeah, so let's start with 4000 because no one really uses the one two. Right, so whenever you cast a weapon skill, which you will be doing a lot, you gain an 18% final damage boost. Again, this might be lower for global, but uh, I think it's just a damage boost as well for global. And also, if we have this trait, notice that any weapon type, well, maybe aside from aberration, but the physical, flame, and vault weapon skill will also trigger Alice aid while under the cold feed. So basically, Alice is not limited anymore to frost weapons. So this is really cool because you can experiment with lineups like Alice, Saki, and later on Fenrir. There's also a comp like that, and also other weapons that uses skill, and then you can trigger Alice support. Right. So a bit of context is that for those of you who has an A6 Lin, which I think most of us has. So if you remember, A6 Lin has this passive that whenever you cast a discharge 3 times, it will reset the cooldown for Moonlight Realm. And notice that for Alice, basically her kit revolves around spamming her discharge, and that counts as discharge skill. So with Alice, you will be resetting the cooldown for Lin quite a lot, and that's really helpful for let's say Saki Alice Lin comp because Saki will is a general skill reset, and then you can use Lin stacks or the how many times you cast her Moonlight Realm to reach the 5 stacks in order to trigger Saki's reset, and to accumulate stacks on Moonlight Realm, then you just use Alice to trigger using her Alice 8. So basically, they all complement each other, and the good thing about that is that Alice Kit just needs A1 or Advancement 1 to achieve this. So um, not really a low investment, but it's really low compared to targeting 3 star, right? But it's really good, and basically that's how her kit revolves. So cast her cold field, and then switch to other weapons and cast their skills, and then Alice will be there to provide passive additional discharge damage and also abuse this part. So this is also good for if you have matrices, which let's say Claudia, which increases discharge damage, or you want effects that trigger upon using discharge, then Alice is really good for that one. So the basic question: should you pull? I would say if you have a frost comp, Alice is a must-have for your team. And if you're a light spender or you just have that you haven't saved a lot, just at least target her A1 and you're good to go. A1 and you're good to go. A3 is just damage boost. A5 or advanced in 5 is damage boost, and I think since on an Alice kit, you will be switching weapons a lot, so it's not that high time that you will be using Immortal Wings, normal attacking to trigger space fracture. So A5 is just utility. Let like I said earlier, grit to escape death one time, cooldown 60 seconds, and 6 stars or A6 is just another damage boost. So if you're not a whale, A1 is more than sufficient. Otherwise, if you're really low on resource, I would say A0 still has a lot of use because remember this one, the Latin configuration. It's really helpful in exploring and getting those achievements, completing those maps, reaching those dots on the map for the treasures and the map completion. Yeah, this will really help you a lot. So yeah, um, overall, Alice is a very staple unit for the Frost comp and also for other lineups. If you have her trait max, which if you have Alice, you should be, so that you can also apply her to other lineups. Um, in CN, she complements Icarus kit quite a lot because I mentioned that Icarus really wants to discharge so that it will trigger her or it will trigger Icarus's quiet skill or the bonus skill that he has, and he can only do that if he triggered his discharge. And Alice plays a great can play a great role in filling the energy gauge for him, so he can continuously charge per rotation. Right. So yeah, that's it for this video. I'll be uploading more details about team lineups and also the state of the future for the Frost or for basically what's in CN and how teams are usually stacked here for the meta, and also maybe a rotation video. But in this video, yeah, I hope you learned quite a bit here. And if there's any question, please comment. And I know that I just started and there's a lot of room to improve. But yeah, I really appreciate it if you can click the subscribe button so I can be encouraged to continue what we do here. And yeah, just put in questions in the comments and I'll respond as soon as I can. So with that, happy gaming, and personally, I will be pulling for Alice in Global when she hits. So yeah, may we all be lucky with our pulls. Have a great day.